because Twitch doesn't pick up stuff until, like, right about now. Okay, now we're good. It's Shin-Arken Podcast, Episode 5. Feature patch stuff. Arken, what's up?
Hey dude, how are you?
Doing good. It's been we were faster on this one, weren't we? Like
Slightly, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
That's fine too.
Yeah. And then also we've got surprise guest because he popped in like a minute before we started. Kuroshi, what's up?
Oh, damn it, I was going to hide.
Nah, no hiding
Don't
for
do
you.
it.
Say the
Hey, what's up,
Kuroshi.
guys?
You're not a thief.
Engineers got stalled.
You shush. Alright. So yeah, feature patch stuff. That's pretty much what this one's gonna be about because it dropped today and that's kind of the hot topic. So let's do it. So yeah, Arken, we figured we were just gonna talk about kind of like mega server and
All that fun.
yeah, all that stuff. To start, and then we'll jump into like changes, like balance changes with our professions and all that fun stuff. So
That's fine. Absolutely.
So I'd say go ahead. What do you got so far? You were actually talking about it just before we started.
So far, to be honest with you, again, we just started talking about it. This is a very, very nice quality of life patch. It is a terrible balance patch. Really is. In fact, it's actually gotten worse because it feels like that after testing my comp a little bit, they're pushing condition builds even harder.
Yeah.
After the nerf with with critical damage, which again doesn't make any sense to me. So, this is just a really, really, really bad balance patch. A really nice quality of life patch, especially with like the wardrobe and stuff. But that is it, man. Unfortunately, I hate to say it. What about you?
Oh yeah, I haven't really had a chance to get in and play much, but just seeing some of the stuff before the patch, and I haven't really had a chance to even look at many of the notes, but yeah, I do agree with you on that it seems like they are pushing conditions even more, and it's not where we need to be going. Conditions are too good at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I agree with you. Like, for quality of life, this patch is amazing. You got the wardrobe, you got all the account-bound stuff, you got the reward tracks in PvP, you got the new PvP map, you got all of the kind of, like, just quality of life. This patch is amazing. But I do agree with you that the balance is kind of what are we doing here, that type of thing. So, honestly, I want to test it out. As I said a whole bunch before the patch, I don't want to make any major balance judgments until I've actually been able to get my hands on it and mess around with it. I know you've already been able to do that, but again, I haven't really had a chance to really mess around with stuff. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting my hands on how are things feeling in PvP and how are a lot of the changes. Also, I gotta retweak the Hamtastic build because I have 2 new sigil slots, and all of them are changed.
See? Isn't that nice?
Oh yeah, nice.
Have you seen the upgrade on the sigil of paralyzation? It's 30% stun duration
That's
now.
ridiculous. That's
Oh.
ridiculous.
Wow,
Yeah.
they doubled it.
Yep, it's insane. Skullcrack comeback.
Skullcrack comeback. The thing about Skullcrack is it's really, really predictable. Like,
Unless it's an Asura.
even still, like, they have a very, very set rotation. They're not able to deviate from it very much because it's very much you daze them, you stun them again, and switch 100 blades, and then you whirlwind away, rinse, repeat. I mean,
I think the problem is the short cooldown on it. It's not really that it's hard to dodge. Like, you can bait out dodges as a warrior, even though most of your skills are kind of obvious. But you have some instant interrupts, and that can trigger some people if you do it in some timing. And then even if you miss your skullcrack, 8 seconds later you can cast it again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, I wanted to see how things end up as far as the overall thing. Like, yeah, I agree with you, Arkin. Not enough was really done to address the conditions situation, and almost pushed it a little more towards that direction. But hey, Impale got nerfed, so there's that,
Yeah.
at least.
It did. Same with pin down. That thing's easy as hell to dodge now.
Sweet,
Oh, yeah.
good to hear. Yeah, again, I haven't had a chance to jump in, and since you've actually had the chance to test it, and you can tell me that it's a lot easier to dodge, I'm happy because that's what I was hoping for.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be nice. You'll see. It's a very obvious to see now. It's something that is obviously very new that you have never seen a longbow do on a warrior. So you'll know that's it, and it's very obvious to see.
Yeah, I'll have to see it firsthand by using it myself, but definitely looking forward to that. And for people who are wondering who the quote random guy is, it's Kuroshi. He happened to just pop in right before the podcast, so we've got him on here.
What's up, guys?
Kuro.
All right.
I was actually, hoping that they would tone down a lot of damage in this balance patch. It's like I feel everything is so over the top. Power, condition damage, it's all really high, and like because it's so high, it doesn't really promote that much of counterplay because the combat is usually done before you can actually like really do something. I was hoping that would happen, but
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, I agree with both of you. The damage is too high, and I think this patch may have pushed it a bit further towards conditions. And yeah, that's not the greatest thing to have happen. But we'll see what happens. Maybe A-Net will get better about bouncing more often.
In 5 months.
In 5 months. Make it 4 now.
Exactly. Do that at least for us. Make it 4 months.
Make it 4 months, A-Net, please. No. Okay. So let's see. We're going to talk about the PvP interface changes, like the ability to kind of just hot swap stuff now. Obviously, when you're not in the middle of a game, but
it's really neat, dude. Very nice.
Yeah, I've actually had a chance to mess around with it myself, and I just hopped in and I'm like, okay, I'm going into SPP to unlock all my PvP skins anyway. Let's check out this UI, and I'm sitting there like, wow, this is really easy to use. This is really nice, and it really is. Like, you just have to swap one rune now. You just have to swap. You can just click, swap, set. You're done.
That's it.
Yeah, for your weapons, your amulet, your your sigils, your runes, just everything. Whereas before, it's like, yeah, you had to go over to the vendors, and you had to search through all the lists, and you had to go over to the weapons guy or to your PvP locker or whatever. And now it's just like done. And the trait interface for PvP is a lot more concise, so it's even easier to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
The search button.
The search button.
Amazing.
The search button, yes. We were actually... Arken was talking about the how the Sigil of Strength got changed and how he's feeling...
It's nice.
It's going to be pretty powerful in PvP. And I'm like, oh... So I was going to look it up in the notes that I've got sitting right here, and... he mentioned that he was actually in the game, and at the time I was too, so I'm like, okay, I'll just go in here, and I started searching through the list, and I look up, but there's a search bar. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Click, strength, boom. I'm like, I love it.
Yeah, this is definitely a lot worse for Condis. I mean, it's bad, dude. I'm sorry for going off topic, but dear God, because I'm in a match right now, and I can honestly say... Ooh, because I actually talked to quite a few people, and unfortunately, you know how people are. It's like, oh, this is the last patch, before, and honestly, for me, that was kind of the same thing, and I'm looking at this going, yeah, this is probably it, because, I don't know, it's very difficult to get my point across how bad things have gotten, and the mere fact that not really much of it has changed, just it kind of emphasizes that quite a bit,
Yeah, it's fair enough. I reference this to a lot of people who, like, they either want to stop playing for one reason, or they're just tired, or whatever, or they don't agree with the current state of things, like yourself. If you need to put it down, you can put it down. You're not paying a sub fee, so you can always come back in the future, stuff like that. Like, as much as I love this game, I also don't try and force people to stick around if they don't want to stick around. So yeah, if you feel the balance is bad enough to the point where you just need to put it down, that's perfectly understandable. Absolutely. I do that all the time with games.
You really can't blame people for wanting to do that. You really can't, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Play what you want. That's what I go by. Kuroshi, since you're here, I guess we'll poke you and get your opinion on everything.
Okay. I honestly I don't know. I need like to test everything because I honestly I just jumped into TS and I'm logged in right now and I'm checking everything out and it looks freaking amazing when it comes to that ease of access. But when quickly glancing through all the balances, yeah, we'll have to see that after a few games.
Yeah, again, like I haven't had a chance to test it myself, so I want to see how things are from my perspective. I need to see how all of the changes affect warrior balance and actually test things. But Arken's been testing it for how long have you been messing around with the patch?
Couple hours ever since. It's literally as soon as it came out, I downloaded. I was like, yeah, I got to see a couple things. The rune changes, the sigil changes. A lot of things have definitely changed. It feels like it's been emphasized a little too much, especially with like how they've boosted a lot of the durations of things up significantly, like ridiculous amount, like stun duration. I mean, that I don't know why.
Yeah, but yeah, like Arken's been testing it for a while, so he has that kind of platform to speak on. Whereas myself and Kuroshi, we haven't had a chance to test stuff yet, so we'll see how that goes.
Absolutely.
So let's see. We talked about the new UI, which we all agree is really good. How have you enjoyed wearing your awesome PvE stuff in PvP, Arken?
Oh, it's pretty sweet.
Get to wear all the crazy, like you don't have to. If you had something in PvE that was crazy hard to get or crazy expensive to get in PvP, now you can wear it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sort of dwelling over something that should have been a lot more important, but I guess it is. As a game where you kind of have to keep the majority happy, then I can understand it from a business standpoint. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I know where you're coming from. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, I can understand why you'd be bummed. I'm slightly bummed myself, but I'm not as hardcore into the PvP. The SPP as you are. Basically there are other parts of the game that entertain me, so I have less of a reason to be as disappointed, I suppose. But no, it's completely understandable. I've been that way with other things before.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, Christian.
They actually did add a new PvP map. I don't know if you read about that, and that looks actually pretty good. Like having a deathmatch kind of map. So that brings us closer to having arenas, maybe. Yep.
That's what I was telling Arkin before the podcast, that they've got the map in, and I figured they're probably going to use that as like almost a testing ground to gather data, and then they'll put it in a team deathmatch mode later, which I will be very, very happy, because right now I use World of Worlds as a glorified deathmatch arena. That's the main reason I love roaming, because the main objective is to kill people, like a team deathmatch arena. And as soon as I saw that map going, I'm like, well, that's becoming the new map on my custom arena, for sure. But yeah,
I can't wait what kind of tournaments they set up with that. But we kind of need like the entire game mode to be adjusted, to that kind of aspect.
Yeah.
Like even solo queues, having its own customized game mode just for that arena, kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
2v2s and 3v3s and 5v5s.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet. Absolutely. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. I
think it'll be fun.
I mean, they do it already with all the Misspedia stuff, but make it an official mode, I'd be stoked.
That would be nice, absolutely. When you have like official backing from the game, that's when you know it's pretty much getting off the ground.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Do you think that the reward system is going to pull everyone back in PvP?
I don't know about everyone, because like I was saying this when I was talking with Rin on her. It was more of a chit chat thing than a podcast, but someone in the chat at the time had asked what, or if the new PvP reward tracks would get any of the people who are talking on TeamSpeak more into PvP and get it to do things more, or get them to play as PvP than they had much before. And I came from the perspective of a PvX player, someone who did that already, but like didn't do it as much as the other things. And what I said at the time, and I still stand by it, is the reward tracks are nice. I'll probably do some more as PvP, maybe a little more than I have been, but without
Right.
without new game modes, I don't have a whole lot more incentive to do SPP because it's still Conquest. It's the same thing I've done since launch. I kind of want something new to play as a game type rather than just having the rewards is nice. Like, it's nice that SPP actually rewards you relatively appropriately compared to the rest of the game, but it's not new game modes. It's not variety in how you do the PvP. That's the thing. Like, roaming is it's killing people, but you have a lot of areas you go around. Fights are all completely different. There's a lot more variety when you're roaming around a giant area. But if the objective is hold and cap and hold points, it takes place in very small arenas. The terrain doesn't change very much. You're forced into going into specific areas over and over and over and over, and it can get kind of repetitive, especially when you've tried doing it since a year and a half ago. So it's like, yeah, I'll probably do some more, but I need a new game mode to really get me more into SPP, like a lot more. So that's my perspective.
Yeah, I stand behind you. I feel like Guild Wars 2, right? That's what they did wrong, by focusing on just having Conquest. And something, I think they overestimated the power of having just one single game mode when they compared it to a MOBA. I don't think it fits at all in an MMO, and they should have given us the opportunity. Like, look, for example, at WildStar, even though I know you don't like the game, it does offer all those game modes, that I'm actually looking for, even though the combat is not as good as Guild Wars 2.
Oh yeah, like it's very similar to what WoW had. WoW well, I shouldn't say at launch. WoW didn't have anything official for PvP at launch. It had World PvP, that was about it. But when they introduced Battlegrounds, they had 3 different modes. They had Warzone Gulch for CTF, they had Alterac Valley for Conquest, and they had not Alterac Valley, Arathi Basin, sorry. And they had Arathi Basin for Conquest, and they had Alterac Valley for kind of like clashing, warring, like objective, like kill, like guild, like what they did for the blood, what we do for the Bloody Tech tourneys, kill the Lord. Alterac Valley is the exact same thing. You kill the enemy general. That when WoW introduced its major PvP platform, it had 3 different modes, and I agree with you completely. Focusing so much on one mode, it's not a good thing to do in an MMO when people have different interests in how they want to PvP and what flavor they want their PvP to take, what kind of strategies they want to use. So yeah, I agree with you completely. Just, you need variety.
Variety is the spice of life, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Arken?
Absolutely. You can't just alienate part of your population, regardless of how small it is. That's terrible. That's exactly the opposite of what you should be doing. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, it is a business. You're here to make money, and I get that. But if you're going to pretty much ignore one aspect of the game, why create it at all? Why even have it in the game, right? You might as well have it not exist to begin with. So that's my biggest issue, is that if you didn't really want it to begin with, then honestly, you shouldn't have made it. Shouldn't have put it in the game regardless. So, absolutely, I think it's terrible, and I am not a fan of it. But again, that's just me personally.
Yeah, the whole what you were alluding to before, with the whole in the business to make money and catering to the majority. I still think that it would be very wise for them to focus more on breadth of PvP. Like, yeah, the majority might PvE, but you still have a lot of people in World of the World, and the reason why you don't have as many people in SPVP is because you haven't given them variety. You haven't given them more reasons to really stick around. And I think if they were to throw in a lot more variety of modes, and they were to throw in a lot more just stuff for the hardcore PvP group to do, throw in maybe automated tourneys, as well as the company-backed ones, throw in the different game modes, throw in competitive ladders, ones that have better matchmaking than the current ones, cough.
That's funny you said that. I played one SPP map 3 days ago, and I ended up being ranked 2 on the leaderboard solo queue.
Yeah, you're a pro, man. Did you know that? You are a pro. Just from now on, you're the biggest pro, NA.
Crushy's
or EU.
Crushy's just that good. But yeah, just making the SPP, making the structured PvP more robust, and just giving what the more hardcore PvPers are looking for, the more competitive and intuitive. Well, intuitive is probably not, well. It'll be intuitive, I guess. That's maybe not the right word, but something there where they can be competitive and they get rewarded appropriately. Maybe not in stuff, but just in status. Like you got leaderboards are a great way of doing that, and just having game modes that you know are fun to play, but you have choice in how you play them, or which ones you play, that type of thing. Just, like I said before, majority may play PvE, but I still think they'd be doing very well by themselves to shore up their SPVP by adding more variety and more esports stuff. I know they esports, but they went about it really wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Even spouting up something like that and not even backing it up, even to the smallest degree, seemed like a huge mistake. And they're not really paying for it because the game is doing very well on the most populated side. But again, when you're ignoring the other two or just the one, then it's a small little issue. Obviously, probably not from a business standpoint, but it's fine.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I still stand by my statement of this year being very, very good for Guild Wars 2. So far, what I've seen, it looks like that's going to be the case, but they haven't gotten, I don't expect them to get everything right at once. They did the end of the living story really well, in my opinion. This feature patch is amazing for quality of life, that all stuff, and I still have faith that they will get something right with PvP down the road. Yes, it sucks it's not right now, but I guess I'm a patient person. I'm willing to wait. If it gets to be the end of the year and it isn't, then I'll say I'm wrong. I'll eat crow, and I don't know what I'll do. But we still have 8 months left in the year. I don't know.
We do, but how long? Again, this isn't just a question you, but in general, how long do you plan to wait? You know what I mean? How long is sufficient? Right? We're going on our second year right now. You know what I mean? And it just again, it feels like it's getting slowly worse and worse, at least from that area of the game. Obviously, PvE and World versus World is thriving, and that's fine. I have no issue with that. But for those of us who just want to do straight up structured PvP, it's really gotten worse, and I can honestly emphasize that from testing a couple hours already. It literally the condition. You know how we had the condition meta being a problem earlier? It's gotten worse. It's bad now. I recently made a condition guardian.
Yeah.
Now that may sound pretty funny to you, but with the new GM they gave us, I'm able to put out 945 burning a second.
Wow.
That is almost 300 more than your standard Condi class, right?
Yeah.
How ridiculous is that, right?
Were you melting faces, literally?
It was bad. I mean, yeah, it's only one Condi, with the amount of reapplication that I had, it was a joke. It really was. It was terrible. I mean,
wow.
You literally saw their health melt, and I'm like, this isn't right, man. What the heck? So, again, it just feels like we're going in the opposite direction. Nerfing physical damage and then buffing conditions. Again, at least for the majority of the people I've talked to, we're kind of going about it the wrong way, the complete opposite way.
Yeah. Again, it's not good right now. To each their own. I know people will be fed up. I know people. It is what it is. There's not much we can. We're basically beating a dead horse at this point.
Indeed.
Yeah. So
we can keep going over the patch notes. See what else we got.
Well, we've got about 35 minutes left. We could just go over things we've noticed from the changes that have happened to our classes. I'm not gonna be able to speak from testing perspective, but I'll be able to kind of, now that I have the full list of patch notes, I can kind of give a bit better. I can kind of make a bit clearer of a judgment on what will happen with me, at least with my class.
Right.
And then
absolutely.
And then Kuroshi could throw in there as well.
Hell yeah, let's do that.
All right. So let's see. Arken, since you've been testing, let's go ahead and start with you. What's from, you don't have to necessarily read off all the changes, but the stuff that's mattered to you, stuff that's made the biggest difference to you. I know you mentioned the new Grandmaster. What's up with Guardians? What do you think?
Right now, Well, we didn't really get too many nerfs this patch. We got one nerf, but I thought it was pretty significant. It was for the precision trait that anytime we crit, we got vigor for 5 seconds on a 5-second CD. We got nerfed. That the internal cooldown got doubled, so that kind of hurt the DPS sustain of things. We got introduced 5 new traits just like everybody else. I'd have to say that every single one of them has got to be some of the worst things I've ever seen implemented in the game. Only because, not just because of how ineffective they are, but of how boring they are. Like 300 more health. I mean, vitality.
3,000 health. Woo.
3,000 health as a GM. You know, and then that's just one of them, like I said. And then again, I made a condition guardian, and I'm able to put out this much burning, you know, with very little effort. Like, it's actually automated for me because I never pop my Virtue of Justice anymore. So it's automated for me, and I'm doing all this damage without really having to land any skills. So it feels like they're trying to push Guardian as well towards the condition meta, which is not, you know, which isn't really where a lot of us want to go.
Yeah.
It also feels like in general physical damage has gone down a little bit. It just feels that way. I'm not too sure what it is. I thought ferocity or the crit damage wasn't supposed to affect SPVP, but it kind of feels like it does a little bit.
Yeah.
So it definitely feels like the physical damage has gone down a little bit, and then again, a Condi damage and/or application has gone up. So from a Guardian standpoint, especially one who plays power like me, things have gotten a little worse, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to see how that goes with the Warrior. As our whole shtick is kind of physical damage, it'll definitely be telling for me when I pick it up later and start testing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Anything specific that, like, if you have I have some of the patch notes up right now, but anything specific that kind of caught your eye or something like that was just in the patch notes? Maybe you didn't use it, but whatnot. Because, like you said, I'm looking at the notes and you don't have a whole lot of changes here.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean, like overall the professions? Like something that I saw was interesting? Is that what you mean?
Well, maybe that, or just with Guardians itself. Like maybe there was one change that's like, ooh, what's up with that? Or like that's really good or that's really bad or something like that. Because you mentioned you only got one nerf.
Yeah, that was it. Everything else seemed to be just adjustments. In fact, if you are on that page, I think the Guardian changes were actually the shortest. They're very small changes, and none of them are really changed. There was only one change, and then the rest of them were kind of like, I guess, tooltip fixes and whatnot, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
But the one thing that really caught my eye again was the vigorous precision change, mainly because while dodging is an issue, especially like constant dodging and whatnot, for me personally, that trait was kind of meant for DPS specs. So I wasn't a fan of how they nerfed that specifically. Now, I can understand when you pair that up with bunker specs, you got a ton of healing when you constantly dodge.
Yeah.
But I honestly thought the biggest issue of all was energy sigils. That I thought was an issue more than anything else. But again, that's just me. But other than that, man, there really wasn't anything else, honestly.
Yeah. I'm looking at one of them, and I noticed they did what you wanted them to do with Litany of Wrath.
What did they do?
They reduced the cast time from 1 second to 7 or 0.5 or 0.75. You know, the 3/4.
Oh no, that's not actually what I wanted. I actually, I still can't see myself using it. Unfortunately, it's yeah.
Because I know back when it was new and you were railing on it, you had said that it needed to have like a 3/4 second cast time, like it felt too long.
I don't think I said 3/4 second. I'm pretty sure, but because it still feels really long. Honestly, It doesn't really feel short by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
And again, like I said, that wasn't the biggest issue. Even if you made it instant, I probably still wouldn't take it, only because you're giving something like this to a profession who has trouble putting out consistent damage, mostly because of the simple fact that you can't stick on your target as well as your terrible scepter. So
yeah,
it kind of seemed a little backwards why you'd give, you know, a specific skill like this to a profession like that.
Yeah, I've kind of talked on the whole litany and defiant stance thing recently. Like, I don't know why they gave you guys that mechanic and they gave us the mechanic we got. It would make more sense to give it to the other person. the other profession, because we can stick to our targets. We're meant to be in the thick of things and dealing the damage and putting it out and being able to heal ourselves while we're busy doing that. I could see that working really well on Warrior, and on the flip side, I could see Litany or Defiant Stance working really well on the Guardian, because you're usually the one taking the damage. You've got skills that redirect damage to you. You've got just a whole bunch of stuff that kind of gets people to attack you, and it's I could see Defiant Stance working really well on a Guardian. I mean, yeah, the Aegis mechanic might screw with it a little bit, but I mean, I could very easily see them just making some code that has it not, like, the damage incoming is unblockable, or I don't know. But I don't see much of a technical hurdle with that. Like, it would make perfect sense if you flipped Litany of Wrath and Defiant Stance between Warrior and Guardian. That's how I would have expected them to do it in the first place. I don't know why they decided to flip the two. I mean, even if you say, oh, build diversity, that's not a build diversity thing, because those are basic class mechanics.
Absolutely. Again, it feels slightly backwards, but I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I can't seem to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Unless you had something else on Guardian Arken, unfortunately, your list is pretty small for changes. Kuroshi.
No, that's it, dude. Honestly, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Kuroshi, what do you think of NG changes?
Well, first things first, automated response finally got changed. I think it's better, like a 50% reduction, and normally it reduced all Condi durations by 100%, which made you completely Condi immune when you were below 25% health. Now they changed it to 33% health, but 50% reduction. So at least I can somewhat deal with engineers if I'm a Condi class myself.
Yeah.
So that's a good change. They also reduced the poison grenade, so you don't stack infinite amount of poison if you throw the poison grenade. So I'm also happy about that.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to the new traits, I could see how it changes in SPP, especially in Conquest mode, having the fortified turrets, which gives you a shield that reflect attacks, ranged attacks, I think it is. I could see how bunker engineers could be even stronger than they are right now. But you'd have to give up on some trait points where you're going to lose, I guess, more offensive capabilities just to going for that. But this way you will be able to bunker down much easier on a point, especially against a class that does use a lot of ranged attacks. The other changes, they don't really look like they bring too much in that I would be interested in. I could see how in the firearms, the bunker down, where you create a proximity mine, it would work for a power build, since those mines deal a lot of damage. But yeah, it's difficult to see. I personally won't be getting any of them except for the experimental turrets. I think I might try out the mine trait, but wait, not experimental turrets, fortified turrets. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
There is one skill, Synaptic Overload, gain 3 seconds of quickness when you knock back or launch a foe. I could see that could work in a static discharge NG, since they do have access to a lot of knockdowns, and it will give them much higher time. I guess like they can burst you down much faster when the quickness is up, but I don't know if it's really worth going for that over all the other trait points.
Yeah, it sounds like a similar situation to what the Warriors got with our Grandmasters, because I saw them initially. I'm like, well, I can see one of these being useful, one of these being I could see one people going for, one people maybe going for, and then the rest kind of because you're giving up a lot for maybe not as much in a lot of cases. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that type of sentiment. I see where you're coming from.
I think a lot of static discharge builds also use the rifle turret. So if you look in Alchemy, we got experimental turrets, and if you drop a rifle turret, you get 5 seconds of Fury time. So their Fury uptime will go much higher like this, almost, I would say 70-80% Fury uptime with this. I haven't been able to test it out myself with the new runes because I saw also that all the new runes got much stronger 6 bonuses, which
Yeah.
made some interesting choices at least for me. I still gotta go through all of them to figure out if I want to change my runes or not.
Yeah, all the testing. Melissa got nerfed, thankfully.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
It didn't get nerfed in the ground, but it's not crazy broken like it was. Because before it was, you remove all conditions and you gain all boons for 5 seconds. That means 5 seconds of protection, 5 seconds of Aegis, even though that gets removed right away, and 5 seconds of stability. Yeah, that's a lot for a rune set to have. Now it's convert 5 conditions, which 5 is still 5 converting, not just clearing, but converting 5 conditions is still powerful. But it's not going to be stupid like it was before, because you can't get stability anymore because only fear is converted into that, and you can't use it when you're feared. Aegis will come, but Aegis wasn't really all that big of a deal, and I don't vulnerability. You can still get protection, but it was mainly the stability that was what really made Lissa as powerful as it was. So it's nice seeing it kind of brought down, and then like you were saying, Kuroshi, you have a lot of other ones brought up and have better 6 sets. I'm really curious to start testing out some of the sets myself. Luckily, Melandra didn't change all that much, so I don't need to worry about that changing for my build. But I am looking forward to testing those as well.
I'm extremely happy about the chance increase, the 50%. Now that's like, for example, I was actually using Nightmare, one of the few that was using Nightmare in PvP because it helped me out a lot, even though it was such a small chance, 5%.
Yeah.
But when it procced, it always came on the right moment. I don't know if I was just lucky or.
You're like, yes.
But now I can somewhat like time it, even if it's on a 90-second cooldown, I can still know after 1.5 minutes it's gonna fear that guy.
Yeah.
I can kind of have it in my internal clock,
Yeah, you have a bit more. You can kind of plan around it more. It's that's one of the things that you kind of need in PvPs. You need to be able to kind of have control over procs, or at least have a good idea of when procs are going to go off. Because then you can build strategy around it. You can build traits. You can kind of set stuff up. You can rely on it. Whereas 5%, it's like, okay, this might happen sometime, maybe when I need it, probably not, that type of thing. But yeah, 50%, like you can kind of know, or at least can get a good guess of when something's going to go down.
I hope they keep this trend up. 'Cause that's one good change. Like I don't like all that passiveness and that not reliability. At the start, a lot of engineer skills had it as well, where you had either one of the 2 skills appear. Like you still have it on certain skills, and I hope they remove that completely. So we can at least rely 100% on everything we do.
Yeah, getting rid of the RNG. Yeah, I guess if that's everything you got for the NG Kuroshi, unless you had anything else.
Those are the main changes. I think I went through all the important ones.
Okay. Well, I guess on to Warrior. I'm happy for the changes we got, even though there are a lot of nerfs. Because I am tired of being stupid, overtuned with OP builds and getting all the hate for it. It's nice to at least see some shaving. We're not getting, kicked to the curb and being total trash like we were at launch, but it's nice to see ANET not, treating us as their pet class, or at least seemingly doing so, or at least throwing gigantic swings of buffs at us. Hello, Healing Signet. It's nice to see things toned down. That's what Warrior needed, and I'm glad we got them. I'm really happy that the Longbow, which is arguably the biggest offender of all of the Warriors' balance issues, the Longbow is probably one of the biggest. It got damage tuned down. It got it got conditions tuned down. It got the tell on one of the big abilities that needed it. it's just nice to see things that needed to be done. Pin down was way too good for not having a tell. I'm happy that has a tell now. It's like backbreaker. Arcing shot just hit too strong for what it was. Like you could get a lot of damage on a Kandi build for a power ability. It was crazy. I'm also happy things like Impale got. It wasn't even really a shave in Impale's case. It was a mechanic change and a pretty straight nerf from it. It's good that got hit because Impale was also very powerful, and that's why you saw a lot of sword Kandi warriors with longbow running around and destroying people. Then there are some other ones there where they could have left it, but I don't really mind them nerfing, like the Merciless Hammer change. It's the same mechanic, you're just kind of dropping the damage by a little bit. I mean, with like builds like the Hambo build, arguably the biggest offender was just how tanky you were and the longbow. I mean, the hammer was rough. It definitely hurt, but I think the main reason that build was as powerful as it is, or is as powerful as it is because of the you got all your stances, you got natural tankiness from the healing stick being what it was, you've got longbow being what it was, and you've got just what the longbow is, and the fact that your stats work so well with it. So I mean, warrior damage with the hammer is kind of ridiculous, but it has long tells. So it's like the Merciless Hammer nerf. It's a nerf that doesn't really even come into effect half the time because if your target's not CC'd, that damage doesn't happen. So like I don't hit them with any. If I don't stun them, don't knock them down. Merciless Hammer doesn't do anything other than reduce the cooldown of my hammer. That's about it. There were some other ones in there, like this is what I was talking about by waiting to see all the patch notes, because I know they mentioned this before, but it was very brief. The building momentum trait, which I know some builds like Greatsword Longbow would go down strength and get the building momentum. There was a bug that was causing it to give more conditioned duration to the warrior. And I have a feeling that may have been contributing to kind of the OP-ness of certain builds. So I'm happy that got toned down. And the rest of the stuff is kind of, like you guys were saying, a lot of it is kind of just, if it's not a nerf, it's kind of just a tool chip change. Like, there was needed balance done, but there could have been more done. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
especially with how long we've waited. That was my biggest issue. If this happened like a couple weeks or a month after like the last patch, then it wouldn't be so bad. But it's quite a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's the waiting around for 4, 5, 6 months before major balance changes happen, and sitting with metas that aren't healthy for as long as we have. I agree with you on that. They do need to get way better about balancing more aggressively and more often. Maybe not even more aggressively, just more often. But yeah, as far as the warrior changes go, I'm happy with them because we needed these changes. We needed to be toned down. But as far as how some of them will affect, like the healing signet nerf, we'll see, because there are other problems other than just what healing signet was. I'm really keen to test how a lot of this stuff works. Now there was one we did get a buff, sort of. It wasn't. It's a buff for probably not a lot of builds, but it's still cool. Kick works with mobile strikes. We can now break immobilize with kick.
Isn't that awesome? Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's so phenomenal. Sorry.
I know it's the best. It's the best warrior change ever. but no. It's nice, but no. Yeah, I'm happy for the changes we got because we needed them. I'm tired of being hated just because I happen to play warrior. Now let's see. What do you guys think of the? I guess we could kind of do like a bounce off thing of like what we think of each other's changes of what we've seen. Well, I haven't really seen much other than the patch notes, and I don't suppose Crochet has either. But
yeah,
I guess Arkin, what have you seen of the changes to NGs and warriors from what you've done fighting them?
Well, warriors are now weaker for sure, only because the only thing that really killed me from a lot of Hambo warriors was the bow. If I got caught in that pin down, which was almost impossible to dodge unless I was a significant distance away, I was probably screwed. Now that it's easy to dodge, it's not nearly as hard to fight. So, I'd have to say this. A lot of people have to test it. I'd have to say that Hambo warriors are significantly weaker, mainly due to that change. And it's funny how much one skill can affect the outcome of a fight. So that got a pretty nasty nerf. I honestly can't say too much else about the warrior. I really haven't encountered too many issues with it yet. But so far, yeah, that seems to be the case. Engineer, yeah, that class is more powerful, only because of the simple fact of like rune and sigil changes to the duration of certain conditions. So, like inadvertently, I guess Necros would fall into this category as well. Hell, even Condi guards would fall into this category in a sense. That's just the overall condition application the overall duration has been significantly increased while the application has stayed the same. So I really can't say much for the NG, honestly. It's just they have been indirectly nerfed, I guess would probably be the more appropriate term. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
other than that, no, not really. I mean, I look at the NG notes. A lot of it seemed to be a lot of quality of life stuff too. So like bug fixes, tooltip changes or fixes. It doesn't really seem like there was much else. So the only thing is, again, from your class using the Hambo, the bow isn't nearly as strong as it used to be.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It's one of the major reasons why Warrior was as strong as it was, and with some of the changes, probably still kind of is because of the longbow. Like, you had the instant, the hard to dodge, fast projectile pin down, and the fire field, and the high damage arcing shot, and the blind, and the conditions, and it was, and the fact that it was AoE and combustive shot covers an entire node. It was all one weapon shouldn't be able to do that well for the class. And I am very happy to hear that Warriors are not as crazy as we used to be because of that pin down nerf. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of hard to really get impressions because, other than from you, Arkin, because Kuroshi and I haven't really played yet. So I mean I can't speak from my perspective yet, and Kuroshi can't really speak from his because we haven't done anything yet.
Right. I think when you do test it or you do go in game a little bit, I think you'll see that again physical damage seems to have brought down a little bit, but again the overall conditions will be much higher. So if you don't have a lot of condition removal and consistent condition removal, I think it's going to be a lot worse than what it was. So it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, what I'm planning on doing tonight on the stream, and normally I don't mention the stream during the podcast, but what I'm definitely planning on doing is doing some dueling with viewers in that new map. So
yeah, I was just in there a minute ago, dude. It is tiny.
Yeah, it's a small map.
Small map, dude. Oh my god, there's like nowhere to run.
Yeah,
I mean there's LOS everywhere, but
yeah,
there's very little. Ooh.
It's a team deathmatch map. Or just a deathmatch map, I should say. You're not meant to run.
I don't think 5v5 would work on there. But
no.
Like 3v3, 2v2,
Too many
that would be
people
amazing.
for 5, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I don't see it as a 5v5 arena. I see it as like a 2v2, maybe 3v3. But no, how do you like that map since you've been in there messing around, Arkin?
It's pretty funny, honestly, because again, we're all looking for points to hold, but there's nothing to hold.
There's nothing there.
So there's a lot of. Again, my biggest issue was that, like, every single profession, especially my own, we have skills that are useful for holding points. Now those skills are pretty much rendered useless because there's nothing to hold. So it's a lot. It's a very much different mindset that you have to get used to for sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that though. Like it forces new builds and it forces less bunkering, which means it's going to be a more aggressive playstyle. Yeah, I think that's the best.
I think so.
It.
Yeah, absolutely.
I enjoy that a lot more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm very much hoping that they take that map and they run with it and they pull out a good deathmatch mode from it. With
I'm
more-
sure they will.
Yeah, with
Or
more
the community
maps.
will. I mean, either one of the two.
Yeah, someone will do it. Let's see. I suppose let's see. We got like 9 minutes left in the podcast. I mean, what are some other things, just kind of outside of the PvP realm, or just in general, that you guys like about the patch? Just kind of quality of life stuff, because that's basically what this patch is. It's mainly quality of life.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people everywhere now because,
Oh, yeah.
again, well, in the beginner zones and the cities, obviously, because, again, the mega server being implemented is nice. I like that a lot. But it's
Actually-
also applied to the Heart of the Mists.
Actually,
So-
they didn't implement it for the cities.
They didn't?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let me see. Because if I've been talking to my guild, they say that the cities are full. Let me
Yeah.
see.
I remember them saying that they weren't like, it was probably like half a week after they announced that they were gonna do the whole mega server thing. I think on the Ready Up they said that, or either on the Ready Up or somewhere they said that they were not gonna do it in cities yet. They were just gonna do it in the starter zones and the SPVP lobby, and they wanted to get some other things right or whatever for testing them before they put them in cities. And I had much the same impression or the same reaction as you when I logged in, or at least went to Divinity's Reach, because there were people everywhere. I'm like, I could have sworn they weren't putting them in there into the cities. And as I was messing around with bank stuff and doing wardrobe and whatnot, there were people talking in Say Chat, and they're like, this should all be Crystal Desert. Like, they haven't, like, I heard from several people that it was reassuring that they hadn't put in the mega servers. Like, what I had heard, I had been reassured in what I heard, and I'm sitting like, damn, this is a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then you go into the SPVP lobby where it is the mega server, and it's like, whoa.
It's really weird because, again, people kept telling me that Rad Assume is now freaking full. I go there, but again, I went to Divinity's Reach. I'm here. I can't find anybody. So maybe again, false information. I don't know, but it definitely feels kind of weird.
Where are you standing?
I'm zoning into Rad Assume right now, and there's nobody here. So, yep, let's just say it didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also depends on where in the city you are, because like I was the Plaza Duena or Statue Duena, or I forget the name of it half time, but the spot where the bank and the auction or the train post are in Divinity's Reach, like that square was just full of people.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But yeah, if you say you're going places and you're not seeing people in where you would expect them to be, then yeah, I still don't think they put them on in the cities, which is again what I had heard from several sources. But yeah, I'm a fan of the mega server thing for sure. More people, it makes it feel more alive. It makes it feel like there are truly as many people playing this game as there are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The guild thing with the last online is also nice because, again, you're going to see a lot of people who just haven't played in forever.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like purge your guild if you're running low on slots. So that definitely is very helpful.
Yeah. Definitely. You were going to say something, Rick?
No, that's. I mean, again, it was a lot of quality of life stuff. The wardrobe's cool, a lot of nice things, and that was, that's pretty much it, honestly.
Yeah.
How many unidentified dice did you guys get?
What do you mean?
If you have like duplicate dice on your different characters, you get unidentified dice mailed to you. So if you log in all your characters and you have duplicate dice, you'll get them mailed. I got 600 of them myself.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't get it. Well, I've only checked my Guardian, so I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, check out
Hard
all
to
your
say.
other characters. No, I was asking if you were going to say something, because it may be like you bump something or whatnot, because your mic will pick something up and it'll sound like you're about to say something else, and I feel like I'm interrupting your thought or something like that. But
No, you're good. Hey, I got 9 out of my warrior. I mean, I'm gonna check all of them, obviously, but that's pretty funny, dude. That's awesome.
yeah, like I think I got a total of 25 unidentifieds across all my characters. I logged on my Ellie and I had 16 come from that. I'm like, what?
That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I think what I had done, or was like kind of doing sort of, was I was like using my Ellie as kind of a repository for dies, and I ended up just having her learn them because I didn't feel like selling them, and this was well before the patch, so I think I just like, here, have dies. And then it turned out that I had 16 that I did that with, because every single die that I would have sent to my alts were duplicates, because I hoard dies on my warrior. I like collecting them. So I'd see it's like, oh, you already know this die. Okay, send it to an alt. So yeah, I think I got like 25 or so.
It's not bad. And again, it's money.
If you had any like double skins, like gem store skins, you can actually get a refund on them. So that's like something.
How do you do that?
Like you just mail them or something to the support, and they'll refund it somewhere in May. I think the 12th.
Oh, nice, very nice.
Yeah, because I had like I know for myself I got one double skin, so I'm gonna get a refund on that. And like all the outfits for me disappeared. I don't have any outfits left.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have problems with that. One of my guildies has an issue where he lost a lot of his stuff. You know, it's pretty sad, and I'm not sure where it is.
Yeah, I'm actually missing my my witch's outfit from the first Halloween.
Same here.
So I'm
same.
thinking it's a bug. I'm pretty confident that ANET will do something. Yeah, I mean, if anything, ANET will be like, here, have a new thing. Send us a support ticket and say, hey, you lost your witch's outfit or whatever. And I'm sure if they can't fix whatever bug is causing it, they'll just send you a new one, because they're typically good about that stuff. But no,
yeah, I have no outfits either, dude. I'm zero. I have empty. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't have any outfits either. But I guess a PSA for people listening to the podcast: if you've gone on all your characters, you've gone into SPVP, and you don't have your town clothes, like your town clothes, like you say you got the aviators, or you got the winter clothing, or you got something that you you have in your town clothes slot, but you cannot find it. It's not in your wardrobe. Go to any major city. Go to, I think, near the trading post. There should be a Black Lion armor smith. Talk to them, and they should get all of that stuff to you, all of your town clothes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I would advise doing
awesome.
it. Yeah, I would advise doing that in every character too, because even if you don't have extra costumes or extra town clothes on any of your other characters, you still get like common clothing tonics or something like that. So you can still get, if you want to look like the basic stuff, and you want those tonics for whatever reason, you can get those just by spamming all your characters.
A friend of mine actually looks like a pimp in PvP now.
Yeah.
Because he can wear his town clothes. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, dude.
Nice.
That's hilarious, honestly.
What I'm tempted to do is I'm tempted to take the aviators and use those as my world helm.
Dude, why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well.
May as well. Can do it now. Go around killing people looking like a boss.
Do it. Just do it.
Oh, I can guarantee I'll do it. Kuroshi, what have you had so far with fun with the wardrobe or dyes or anything like that?
I actually can wear my aura gear without farming aura, so...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's
Holy
right.
shit.
What?
Yeah, you got it in PvP.
I have the aura
Right.
full set in PvP, and now
That's
I can
right,
equip
yeah.
it everywhere.
That's good, because aura, I heard, is not very fun to do. So
And
yeah, I'm
it
with you.
bugs out. Like, I tried it, man. And every time I came to the last boss, either the last event didn't start up or something happened, and I just got, fuck it. I was like, no way. No more aura for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all of the stuff that you got in SPVP, you can now wear wherever you want. So everything, all the skins you got through SPVP, you have for everything.
The skins were actually like popping up for days, but luckily somebody in the map chat said that you can click on it and it goes much faster then.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of skins, just click on those pop-ups.
Yeah, actually, I was switching characters so fast that it didn't really matter, because every time I'd log out, all the notifications went away. Although I was surprised because I logged in. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do anything new. Because I told someone I was gonna make them some like Mithril boxes and send to their character before just a couple days ago, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do anything related to new patch. I'm just gonna get on, make these boxes, and then go take care of what I'm gonna do, and then enjoy the patch. Well, I'm sitting there making the stuff, and I'm like, okay, I've made them, I've sent them to them. Before I start doing other patch stuff, I may as well clean out my inventory. And so I start salvaging things, and all of a sudden the skin things start popping. I'm like, oh, okay, hi wardrobe.
That's pretty neat, isn't it?
Yeah, because I remember them saying on the forums that as a failsafe, if you salvage or delete an item, it's automatically unlocked in your wardrobe.
GG.
Yeah,
Hey, it's smart. That's actually very smart.
yeah, it's nice. Well, that brings us to the top of the hour for our podcast. Is there any last things that either of you guys want to say, just on before we end this episode?
Yeah, sort of, honestly, and I'm slightly disappointed. That's all, just slightly, you know.
To each their own.
That's it, honestly. I mean, other than that, everything seems nicer.
Yeah.
I agree with Arken, and I miss the bobbleheads. I think that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I heard there are tonics that have been data mined, so you might get your bobblehead in the not too distant future, Crushy.
Maybe. I hope so.
I guarantee you that tonic is going to be worth so much money.
Oh, it will be. I'm sure.
Stupid amounts.
And I'm sure it'll probably be very rare as well. Yeah, my consensus on the patch, part of me, in fact, a lot of me, is very, very happy for the quality of life changes. It'll make playing the game a lot nicer, a lot just less little things that just kind of irritate you here and there. But there is also the part of me, like yourself, Arkin, who wants this game to be balanced, and seeing these things and hearing from what you've experimented with so far, it is disappointing to hear that the balance is going in the wrong direction. So I'm hoping it gets better, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, overall, very, very happy for this patch. But I do have a part that agrees with you that is disappointing from a balance standpoint. Other than Warriors being nerfed, I'm happy for the Warrior nerfs. Very happy for Warrior nerfs. Sick of being.
Oh yeah.
Sick of being.
I'm sure pretty much everybody is in that sense. I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a breath of fresh air to not be stupidly overtuned. But yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for this episode. I guess Arkin, you and I can discuss a time maybe like next week or something, doing the next episode.
Absolutely.
I think Mesmer is the next one we're gonna hit, as far as that one it goes.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I know we want to get out through all of the professions, and then we can start just talking about general stuff or whatever happens around those podcasts. But yeah, probably best to get all the other professions out of the way.
Sounds good, man. Absolutely, I agree.
So yeah, we will let you guys know when the next episode is going to be coming up. Kuroshi, thanks for joining us. I know it was pretty just kind of pop in, oh hey, what's going on, and suddenly you're on the podcast.
That's
It's
awesome.
okay.
Yeah.
It was
Isn't it?
awesome. I was actually joining up. And check out my new skin. It looks freaking amazing.
You got a picture?
Holy shit. Yeah, it's on the stream. I'll post it in the chat.
Let me see. Oh, you did. Oh, you look like an evil little bastard.
Oh, he's got.
You're evil.
Yeah, he's got the
I love.
the Phantom hat and everything.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'd kiss it.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us this week, guys. Or this time, hopefully I can say this week. But we'll be back in the not too distant future with more Mesmer and just general PvP stuff. Hopefully. So we will see you guys then. Thanks everyone for hanging out, listening, and we'll see you in the future.
See ya.
Take care, guys.
Badoo.